So in a previous video, I shared with you about how I explored for myself the faith and evidence for the faith and reasons for believing in Jesus, of who he claimed to be. Shared with you about how Mere Christianity was a very important book for me in that process. Wanted to share a few other resources with you that might be helpful for you as you look at them. If kind of the evidence and historical truthfulness is something you want to look at for yourself, and the evidence you want to look at for yourself, More Than a Carpenter by Josh McDowell might be a helpful book for you. Looks for just kind of why the resurrection and the historicity of Jesus and who he claimed to be. That would be an accessible book that you might try out. Another one is Lee Strobel, The Case for Christ. He was a journalist who was a skeptic, but decided to look at the story of Jesus the way he would research and look at any other story he would cover as a journalist. So he started out as a skeptic, he explored, and came out as a believer. That might be a good one for you. And they, a few years ago, came out with a movie based on his story. So if books and reading are not your natural inclination, maybe a movie would be something you'd want to try out. One other resource I forgot to grab the copy out of my library is Tim Keller's Making Sense of Faith. Pretty much everything Tim Keller writes I find persuasive and really well done. Looks at how someone in modern world can believe and how faith can be a reasonable thing. So would really encourage you, if you have doubts and if you're exploring, to look into the claims and think through things for yourself. So the elder who shared with me the book Mere Christianity would often quote prayer, I believe is from the Air Force Academy Cadets prayer, where he would say, Lord, never be satisfied with the half-truth when the whole truth can be found. And I love that because the pursuit of truth is always a good thing. And if you have doubts, if you have questions, if you have issues really not settled about your conviction, would strongly encourage you to explore and to look at arguments for and against, and prayerfully consider, and until you are convinced that you have the truth. I'm going to put links to these resources in the show description. Also, if these are helpful, I would appreciate you subscribing. If you have someone who's wrestling with the historicity of Christ, the truthfulness of the claims, the resurrection, why don't you share this with them or share the resources with them? And also, if you know of some resources that have been helpful for you, would you list those in the comment section so I can look at things to recommend to others? Thanks.